What's up, everybody, and welcome to my part two of the Impact Wrestling 1000th episode, or I should now be saying 1001 episodes of Impact Wrestling. I know this was a 2 week thing and whatnot, but I guess you can count it as one episode, but I guess you can say 1001 at the same time, even though they called it a 1000 episode part two and whatnot. So let's get right into it. After they played highlights from last week's show, they kicked it off with a Ultimate X match that started off with Speedball Mike Bailey, Samurai Del Sol, Rich Swann, Alan Angels, Ace Austin, and Zachary Wentz. Basically, whoever wins here will get a shot, I guess, at the X Division title with the Ultimate X. It was a pretty good match, don't get me wrong. I've seen probably crazier, Ultimate X matches and whatnot, but it was pretty good. Alan Angels ended up getting the X and winning the match then. Basically, says he's going to cash in his shot next week on Chris Sabin. Not going to wait or carry the X around on his neck like a dweeb. I guess be like Kushida, because he was wearing the X around his neck, just carrying it with him and whatnot. But excuse me, and whatnot. But he's gonna do it next week. He's not gonna wait to hold on to that Ultimate X title shot right now. But it was pretty good. So Alan Angels is gonna give him a push. Maybe, I'm not really sure, but we'll see what goes for him. I know they've been doing a solo run with him ever since he got out of the design. So we'll see what happens. Right after that, they then went to Dirty Dango versus Jake something. One thing I can say about this, and they used to do this back when TNA first kind of started, especially I believe on Fox or Spike at the time, when they used to have the little graphics out there with the time limit and the names up top. It was actually pretty cool to see that again, because they did that. I mean, just even before I even started watching TNA, but I remember like the little graphics up top, like a sports feel to it, and the time limit to the match. And I guess one of the judges in the match was Chase Stevens and what's that. So they did have a judge. So I think the graphics was pretty cool, given that it hadn't been done in so long. Jake Something ended up getting the win. I'm not really surprised here. So obviously they're pushing Jake Something to something. Like I said, they made him look like a powerhouse now out there and going over people. So we'll see what happens with Jake Something. Right after that, Steve Macklin was kind of promo on Rhino, how he took him out, but after he cost him that briefcase last week, he was coming after Rhino. Rhino ended up just running and goring him into like the wall then, into the garage door. The medics were checking on him. Santino was pissed off, but Rhino says he doesn't give a fuck, and whatever happens to Macklin is on him. It's not on me. That's on him. Right after that, it was going to be Eric Young versus Kenny King, but this is now where multiple DQs, or some would say this is classic TNA booking here. It ended up now being Team Canada versus Team Canada versus Kenny King and Sheldon Jean then. So it was going to be a tag match. But then seconds later, I guess the design still exists. I thought they were done. But Shark Boy, by the way, the deputy out there, give me a shell, yeah. Basically, man, we're going to have an 8-man tag, and there's another team in the back. So, America's Most Wanted was going to be involved. So, yes, Team Canada and America's Most Wanted versus Kenny King, Sheldon Jean, and the design out there. A pretty good tag match, and, I guess say nostalgia run out there, but it was pretty good. James Storm, I don't know what James Storm is doing nowadays. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what company he's in. I don't even know if he was still part of NWA. James Storm is still in great shape. I think the last time I really saw James Storm back in Impact was what? Was it? Kind of, it was after Slammiversary or before it, but of last year though. But I haven't seen James Storm in Impact for a while. The last time I saw Chris Harris here, he was not good in the ring. He really wasn't. He looked a little better here, I'll say that. But James Storm, he still looks great. He could still go. I wish something bigger would happen for him. And whatnot. I know he's a TNA original and all that, and it's nice to see it. Personally, I like Beer Money better than America's Most Wanted, but it was just nice to see him again. So I don't know what he's been really doing nowadays. The last time I really heard about, like I said, the last time I heard about James Storm was in the NWA. It's not like I really see the guy going to AEW or going back to well, he's in WWE for like a cup of coffee, and I was on NXT like one or twice. But James Storm, like I said, still in great shape, still can go. I'd like to see him still do something though, even if it is back in Impact. So I don't know, but this probably was a one-time thing with James Storm being here, same as America's Most Wanted. Scott D'Amore in the ring. Well, he didn't do bad. I can say that. Um, but it ended up with Eric Young giving pile driver on the Sheldon Jean for the win. So a good tag match though. Right after that, I guess they played footage from last week with Team 3D. After 7 years, Devon was happy to be back in the ring. Him and Brother Ray, as after back surgery and a stroke, he feels just great to be back in the ring. His fans chanted, "Thank you, Devon." Then after that, it's really great to see Devon, my brother, testify. Given that this man had back surgery and a stroke and was still taking bumps out there, you have to give the man a lot of credit just for even coming back in the ring. Because I was surprised he took bumps on that show last week. But I was happy to see Team 3D back together, given they haven't teamed in 7 years. I didn't think they were ever going to team again, given, Devon's health problems and whatnot. But it's good to see him doing better and that he's recovered very well to even get back in the ring and wrestle. Right after that, Dave LaGreca from Busted Open Radio, I guess, was here for the Feast or Fired cases, which I'm not really surprised who got the cases here or who was going to get fired after this. Basically, they opened them all. I know everybody said they wanted champions, as Yu Uemura would say, but Chris Bay, let's see here. Crazy Steve got a digital media title. I don't know why the X Division. So the title shots was the digital media, the world title, and the tag team titles. I don't know why they had the digital media instead of the X Division. Or instead of even do a Feast of Fire, if we had the digital media, why we just have to put Feast? Why do we need Fired again, huh? So ended up with Crazy Steve getting the digital media title shot. As he was talking about a world full of dreamers, I guess the Tommy Dreamer. Moose gets a world title shot, and Chris Bay gets a tag team title shot. So him and, Ace Austin Bullet Club will get a tag team. And Yu Uemura basically got the fire case, as he said, no champions. Basically, I believe his excursion is over and he will be heading back to New Japan soon. I would say this Joya stuff was starting to kind of get over again, given it just started and the fans were kind of seemed to, sing along and dance to it. So it looked like it was working. So I thought he'd be sticking around, but I guess they're doing like a celebration for him to go, leave next week. But I believe his excursion is over and he will be headed back to New Japan soon. So we'll see what happens with that. Josh Alexander went against Trey Miguel. Very good match. I know Alex Shelley got involved and he spin Zachary Wentz's face and he hit him with the title belt. Then Josh ended up getting the C4 spike for the win. As Shelley got in the ring, and I guess he's being more of a smug heel now and whatnot, and talked about what happened in Emergence and stuff. But Shelley says, "I'm not here to help you. I want to hurt the rascals, okay?" And then Josh said, "I'm glad you're here because I got something to say to you because I'm challenging you at Bound for Glory for the world title." As Alex Shelley said, "Okay, so obviously we're going to get a rematch from Emergence of last year in Chicago, and will be a rematch again in Chicago. It will be a rematch from Emergence that was in Chicago that will now happen at Bound for Glory in Chicago." So definitely big news right there for the main event of Bound for Glory coming up. But next, they went to Jonathan Gresham. We haven't seen in a minute, I feel like, or any type of promo time. Was basically talking to Mike Bailey. Mike Bailey, who will be facing Will Ospreay at Bound for Glory, was announced. Hey, he's got a IWGP Junior Heavyweight title shot coming up next month too. But Will Ospreay, Speedball, looking forward to that match. Him and Gresham was talking in the room, basically how he's doing and stuff, and talked about, it's been a lot of cheating, I guess, in this company right now. Talk about the briefcases. Gresham says, I am a former world champion and whatnot, so I know what it takes to be one. And, he's not here to grab an X or a briefcase, but he's here to do, what he was here to do is get to the top. As Gresham basically talked about, we had distractions before, but Bailey says, I got the perfect opponent for you. And it's going to be me. So, it's going to be Gresham versus Speedball, Mike Bailey next week. We'll see how that goes, even though we've seen it several times on the show. But maybe Jonathan Gresham is going to be doing something important because we haven't really seen him ever since he got that promo with Tom Hannafin with that interview. The Rascals was sitting in the back. John Scholar wondering where their tag title shot was, saying like this ain't a good time right now. But they said the Good Hands want their title shots. We helped you. You owe us. Ace Austin and Chris Bay basically came to briefcase saying they're going to get their title shot. As Scholar says, not before me. But next, the Rascals end up just kind of leaving them high and dry there at the end. But basically, we got to the main event, which was a 10-woman knockouts match. The past, present, and the future were all out there. Basically, Mickie James, Jordynne Grace, Awesome Kong, Gail Kim, and Trinity versus Deonna Purrazzo, Tasha Steelz, Savannah Evans, Angelina Love, and Giselle Shaw. Basically, like I said, past, present, future out here. I know people talked about that bump Gail Kim had taken out there off the apron, which I saw on video. Pretty rough, but she kept going. By the way, Gail Kim has not missed a beat. Like, I know she's been out of the ring for a few years now, but Gail Kim can still go. She still has it. Like, even when she retires and just comes back randomly, Gail Kim still has it and can go. Like, everybody look good out here. I mean, some people haven't really seen wrestling in a while. I know Angelina Love and them is still going, mostly in ROH though, or NWA last time I remember. Awesome Kong. It was actually good to see Awesome Kong in the ring again. And Awesome Kong didn't really take any bumps, but it's not like she really took any before. Kong has always been booked to be a beast and whatnot. So we already know how that goes. But I thought everybody looked good out here. I thought it was a really good 10-woman tag out there. Good stuff. It ended up with Awesome Kong hitting the implant buster onto Shaw for the win. So, and then after that, the beautiful people end up putting the bag over Jiva Doll's head then. So they did bring a bag out there. So it was a good main event though and whatnot. Even though they had that 20-something minute segment last week to set it up, but this was definitely enjoyable, and it was good to see some of the old names come from TNA back here for this show. So I definitely enjoyed it though. Good stuff. Overall, in this part 2, I guess, of the 1000th episode and whatnot. One thing you gotta say about the Knockouts division, before WWE ever got big with their women's division, the Knockouts were doing it first, folks. Okay, remember that. The Knockouts division was killing the WWE women's division for a long time before WWE had started making it important. So it is kind of, in a way, not ironic, but good to see just where it's from the past and where it is now. But overall, pretty good episode, though. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed some of the names coming back. It was a big deal for this 1000th episode, part 1, part 2, 1001, whatever you want to put. But it was great to see some of the old TNA names come back from the past. And maybe, hopefully now, we'll see what happens in the future. Impact's in a pretty good spot right now, Bound for Glory coming up. I don't know if I keep hearing about this new production that's going to be happening with this show. And maybe intro and a whole bunch of things. I hope so, because they do need a fresh coat of paint right now in production, especially production. I've complained about production when it comes to Impact. So if this whole production thing is rumor, I hope it's true and they get better production in. But hey, that's all I got to say about the show. So comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. Like this video, hit that notification bell, and yeah, this was the 1000th episode of Impact Wrestling Part 2. So I'm out here. See y'all then. Peace.